we are not moving forward with the fund, period. The reasons for the fund is something that President Trump talked about for a long time, which is the fact that there were a lot of people in this country who had their government weaponized against them. The reasons for the fund, I think, it remain as important as they were before, but we are not moving forward with the fund.
That's Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche confirming the DOJ will not move forward with the proposed $1.8 billion anti-weaponization fund. Blanche says the part of the settlement preventing the IRS from retroactively auditing President Trump and his family will remain in effect. The House and Senate now working to pass Republicans' party line immigration enforcement bill after missing President Trump's June 1st deadline. The fund was a major point of contention over getting that legislation over the finish line. Joining me now is Michigan Congresswoman Lisa McClain. She is the chairwoman of the House Republican Conference. Chairwoman, great to have you this morning. Thanks very much for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
So what is the prospect at this point? If Republicans have the votes to move forward today, we'll likely see Democrats do a vote-a-rama, coming up with amendments to test GOP unity. What are you expecting in terms of this bill?
You know, I expect the Democrats to do what they always do, stall, delay, anything they can to make sure that we have open borders, that we defund the police and any law enforcement agency. But again, Republicans will do their job. It's a little bit messy, but the bill will come over. It'll be clean, and it'll pass this week, and we'll fund those very vital agencies that secure and protect our nation. And that'll happen probably Thursday this week, if I had to bet.
Well, I mean, it's unfortunate that you've got to use reconciliation to do regular appropriations to just fund immigration, but that's where you are.
Yep, that's where we're at. And again, that is the whole Democratic tactic. They're telling what their playbook is. They want open borders. They want to defund the police. And that's why they're doing this, or making us do this, through reconciliation. And what I would tell the American people is believe them when they put illegal aliens over the American people. They prove that to you time and time again. Believe the Democrats when they prioritize the criminals over the law-abiding citizens. They show it to you time and time again. And I mean, we just got to believe them, take them at their word.
Now, Congresswoman, I want to get your take on some of the other pieces of business that you're working on ahead of the midterms. And one of them, of course, has been the Clarity Act. The House already passed your version of the Digital Asset Market Clarity Act last year. And now we are waiting for a full Senate vote after it passed the Senate Banking Committee. But the banks are still not happy. And, you know, this whole idea of crypto platforms paying out rewards to customers who keep money in crypto as opposed to the major banks. I spoke with J.P. Morgan Chase Chairman and CEO Jamie Dimon about it last week, and he said he's going to fight it. He was at the Reagan National Library with us, and he was not happy about where the Clarity Act stands right now. Watch what he said. Watch. Are you happy with the way the Clarity Act is turning out?
No. No, because it allows them to effectively pay interest on deposits, stable coins or something like that, without the protection that they should have. And it doesn't do anything for AML-BSA. It has almost no legal protections. So no, the banks will not accept it that way.
They won't accept
the ABA, the small banks, the credit unions, it's not just the big guys. I'm not worried about stablecoin, but if it happened, I'm telling you, I would have nothing to do with it, and it would eventually blow up on its own. Okay, but that's my personal thing. But I do understand the concern of all the other banks. So,
well, the markup is coming. I mean, what are you going to do about it?
It is. We'll fight it. If we lose, we lose, and we'll live.
Yeah. Okay.
But it will be fought. This will not be. No one's going to bow down to this guy, okay, or that company. And he's the only one.
Yeah.
And he's spending hundreds of millions of dollars in Washington. This thing.
Okay? He said he's representing the whole industry. Congresswoman, your reaction?
Yeah. Listen, I understand from the perspective of the banks where they're coming from. I also understand the other side with the Clarity Act and the currency in terms of what we're doing. What I do know is that's democracy at its best, right? There's going to be a markup on it. We're going to debate. Disagreement isn't disloyalty. We're going to debate the issues, and much like in business, we're going to get 80%, I think, of what everybody wants. Everybody would want want a better deal, no question. And I understand the banks want the status quo. Unfortunately, we can't have the status quo, and there's going to be some changes. So I look forward to the markup. I look forward to the Clarity Act. And one way or another, it's going to get done because it's here to stay.
When would you expect final passage?
You know, I wish I had a crystal ball. I would say within the near future, the next maybe month or so.
Well, we've been talking about this spate of IPOs coming to market. You got SpaceX. Do you believe Congress should do more to encourage companies to go public?
You know, I think Congress should stay in its lane, and I think Congress should provide guardrails, right? We should provide incentives, not disincentives. I think it's a very slippery slope when you get into encouraging people to go public, not go public.
Okay.
Provide the guardrails, I think, is the best answer to that question.
And of course, you put lots of guardrails in place in the big, beautiful bill. We've got the new Treasury Department analysis of this year's tax filing season. 90% claimed the deduction for no tax on tips. 75% claimed the overtime and no tax on overtime. 62% claimed the deduction for interest on American-made car loans, and 68% claimed the enhancement deduction for seniors. A majority of the filers reported an income below $100,000. So, Congresswoman, that resonated. Will you be able to message that out in the upcoming months ahead of the midterms?
Absolutely. And what I would start with, every single Democrat voted to raise your taxes, and believe them when they say that. Maria, this is real money for real people. You know, the Democrats want to get the narrative out there that, oh, this is a tax cut for the ultra wealthy. Well, the majority of people that are receiving these tax refunds are making $100,000 or less. I don't know about you, but that's not ultra wealthy in my opinion. This is real money for real people. And Republicans are going to continue to fight to keep Americans' tax dollars in Americans' pockets, because the government is not the best steward of the American people's money. It's the American people that's the best steward of their cash.
So how are you feeling? I mean, you're the most important, or one of the most important voices there in the GOP in terms of messaging, being the chair of the House Republican Conference, number 4 leadership position. Congresswoman, how are you feeling about the midterms now? Are you still expecting that the House will lose the majority?
I don't. I am an optimist by nature, as you know, and I say I'm cautiously optimistic. I know traditionally history isn't on our side, but we've been able to defy the odds up until this point. And I believe we're going to win the midterms for 2 reasons. One, just listen to the Democrats. They want to raise your taxes. They're crazy. They want open borders. They think God has 7 different genders. That's not the American people. We are on the right side with the right policies. Keep more of your money. We're normal versus crazy, and we have the better candidates.
What do you think
I'm optimistic.
What do you think is the single strongest Republican message right now going into the 26 midterms?
Really simple. It's normal versus crazy. Just look at the candidates that the Republicans are putting out there. They're normal. They're average Americans, right? They resonate with the communities. Compare and contrast that to the candidates that the Democrats are putting out there.
Okay.
They're communists. I mean, they're crazy. They have crazy policies, and everybody is running to the far left. That's not America.
Congressman, we'll be watching all of this as it plays out in the coming months. We so appreciate your time this morning. Thank you.
Thank you.
Lisa McClain on Capitol Hill.